Hello, everybody, and welcome to Workshop. This is a series that goes into detail, taking works in progress songs that have been submitted to me by viewers and talking about maybe ways to improve them or change them around in some way, make them more interesting. Now, as always, I wanted to say up front that these are just my opinions, that this is not the definitive way to improve a song. And I am not an expert. I just have a lot of experience in the field, and I am happy to help and offer advice to people who might need it. So the song that we have today that was submitted to me is called Lost in Time and Space, and it was submitted by Spunkly, who you can find on both YouTube and Twitter. I will play through the song as a whole first, and then I'll go into some thoughts on ways that we can improve it over time. So here we go. And then it kind of, when it loops, something breaks in there somewhere, which is fine. But so I really love this song. I think that it's super, super cool. There's definitely some strong Mega Man influences in there, which I like a lot. But I wanted to talk about a couple things, and I talked to Spunkly about these a little bit on Twitter as well when we chatted. The first thing that I noticed is that you do have the echo here, which is really neat. I like how this works, but it's kind of creating this weird chorus effect that I don't know if I dig. It's actually not that bad. It sounds a little weird to me, and maybe that's just my own personal preference. Like, I might bring these down quite a bit more just to see if that helps. Yeah, I think that actually does help a little bit in this case. Because when they were so loud, you're getting the waveforms to conflict with each other. And it kind of creates this chorus effect, which is neat, but I feel like it's not exactly what you're looking for. Oh my God, I'm hitting all the wrong keys today. So that was kind of the first thought I had. After that, and this is what we talked about most on Twitter, is I felt the drums were pretty weak in this overall. And there's two things that you can do here. I think the hi-hat works pretty well for what it is, but the kick is really lacking in punch, and then the snare is really lacking in punch as well. So what I want to do is I want to clone the instrument so we have the original, and then let's look at this right here. So what we have here is just a kick. Yeah. So it's pretty basic, but my thoughts with percussion is you want a very strong hit and then a long tail like this. So this gives you a little bit more of a You do lose a little bit of volume in this case, but you can compensate here by just raising this up a little bit. And I'm not going to do this for all of them, but... So I think, excuse me, I think that helps a little bit. You can even make it a little bit more of a strong attack like this. And the next thing that I wanted to talk about was the snare. I feel like the snare is really the backbone of a lot of these types of songs, and you have the right curve here, but I feel like you need to also arpeggiate it just a little bit. And I think what you can do with this, and this is something I do with a lot of the songs, is just kind of pitch bend down the instrument over time, and you get this really kind of strong, snappy feel to it. So let's bring this back up and see what it sounds like now. I also raised the volume, probably a little too much. And I also raised the pitch a little bit too. Yeah, so I feel like this is a little bit of a better start. However, since a lot of the triangle channel is actually duplicated in the sawtooth channel, it's a good idea to maybe do a tri-kick. Whoa, jeez. Do a tri-kick as well. Let's revert what I did there when I was typing. And in this case, all you got to do is just... Well, you don't need volume because this is in the kick, and you just do a pitch and just set this to loop and have it pitch down, and then you need it pitch down faster than that, I guess. Yeah, so, and then we can just hard cut off after a little bit. So with this will give us a much beefier kick. Yeah, so I think that helps as well. Now again, this is all kind of personal preference for me, but this is kind of what I found works. There's a lot more work that you can do on stuff like that, but especially getting the triangle kick in there for a little bit more beef, and then working on those snares, because even if this kick was basically muted, you'd still have this strong, punchy kick. Oh, and I'm dumb. I just realized that I was editing the same envelope for all of those, which is why things started to sound kind of weird. Okay, well that makes sense. I apologize. That was dumb of me. I wasn't paying attention. So yeah, splitting out your velocities, especially between the hat and the snare, because the hat is often supposed to be very short. That would probably help too. Okay, so moving on. I like how this kind of keeps flowing, and then bringing in the melody and the lead. That's really nice. I like how you made everything echo in this. It's really cool. And I really like this new part as well. I feel that it gets kind of repetitive because I think between 04 and like 09 is the same thing. Yeah, so you have a lot of repeats of the same thing, which is good because it's a really cool and solid melody. But I feel like you need a little bit more something going on here. One thing you could do is you could add like a crash cymbal kind of sound right here, which I guess really I could have just had as an empty, but whatever. Oh, not in the DPCM, in the noise. Yeah. So basically just have this fade out slowly, and then if you put a slight or a vibrato on it, you'll get a cool sound with it too. You can make that slower. So you could have that leading in, which might work well. And I mean, this is something that you could put at the start of each bar, but then again, it would start getting repetitive. I think that since you're also introducing this little arpeggio thing here that fades out, it would be cool to do it twice, like right there, and then leave this one. Maybe have it like, give it, right, the kick is way up here. Give it just like one little kick here to indicate, it's like, oh, we're changing sections now. The other thing you could do is, I know you speed up the bass later on, but you could just go something like this to give it a little bit more stuttery movement. And since you're kind of just repeating the same thing over and over, it might be cool if you, let's see, that's F sharp. I think that's right. Yeah, so just kind of varying the melody just a little bit usually helps quite a bit. And then you could even do the same thing here. But since this is like the fourth repeat of this melody, it might be cool to have like a pulse counter melody lead over here as well. And I don't know if I can come up with one like off the cuff, but yeah, so kind of just creating a counter melody over here that basically just harmonizes with this. And it doesn't have to be anything super fancy, but again, it would create another layer of interesting sounds. So again, that's just another thing. Since you have this channel available, you might as well try using it for something, because why not? I think that there's a lot of reasons to explore kind of adding those extra channels. Moving on. I like this because I think that you can do something cool with it. So instead of going down on this last one, you could go up. Actually, no, you are going up here. So let's just stay at 6 and just start stuttering it. This is something that I haven't really done a whole lot, but manually changing the volume like this to correspond with the melody that's going on. Yeah, so I think that's pretty cool. I mean, if you wanted to... Ooh, my mouse flipped out there. If you wanted to be super hardcore parkour about it, you could go like this and move it down just a little bit. So you get kind of a stereo effect. I think that'll work. Since it's mono, it might not work super well. Yeah, I don't think that works pretty well. It's kind of cool, but I don't think it works just as well as kind of just stuttering it. You could also set up some triggers in here so it would go quicker than just every bar or every 16th note, and that's something that you could look for as well. But honestly, I think this part's solid because it's kind of just leading back up into the rest of it. And I mean, if you wanted to get kind of crazy with it, you could take that stuttering here, and you could propagate it throughout the whole thing. You could go, I think it was right here, yeah, and then cut out all of these where it's 0, and doing some kind of global edits like this can sometimes be really cool, and sometimes they can really suck. So let's see. Ugh, jeez. Every time. Yeah, so that's kind of cool. It's a way to kind of mix things up over here. You have a really sweet lead here. The last thing I did it again. The last thing that I noticed is that this kind of ends on a weird note. I would try to add like another note in here somewhere, just because it ends on like just a weird place. So if you wanted to maybe put like an F in here. Oh, wrong octave. I don't know if that would work, but just have it end on either a beat or an 8th note instead of one of these 16th notes, because it just feels like it ends at an awkward spot. Like right here. I feel that works better. And like you did up here, you could also do jeez, I can't hit any notes today. You could do a little pitch bend. Yeah. Yeah, so that is basically my thoughts for this song. I really like this overall. I think that it's a super cool track that's definitely like influenced by Mega Man and other games of that genre. It's very, very neat. So if you have a song that you'd like to submit to Workshop, it doesn't have to be FamiTracker. I know FamiTracker is a big part of my channel, but I'm more than happy to look at basically any genre of music. If I don't do a Workshop episode on it, I will at least send you an email back or respond to you, and we can chat about the song, and I'd be happy to give any kind of feedback that you want. If you want to submit a song, hit me up on Twitter at Ben_Burns. That's BURNES, or send me an email at abstraction@abstractionmusic.com. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching this. This has been a ton of fun, and I love talking about this kind of stuff. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the section below, and I'd be happy to answer them for you. And I guess that's all I have. Until next time, have a great day. Take care.